So a lot of newer investors will always ask me how I find deals because most places you look like the MLS have a lot of competition out there, and that you can still find great deals there, but it's a lot better to find deals straight from the source. And so I've talked about before sending letters or driving for dollars. There's lots of different ways to generate leads and try to come up with investment opportunities that aren't on the MLS, brokered by a professional out there for the whole world to see. That's how this seller originally came in my circle, was when I did letters and found her and ended up buying a couple of the previous deal by deal episodes that we talked about from this seller directly. And now she had this other property. And so other than sending letters, deal follow-up and staying in contact with the people you've worked with before that liked working with you is a great way for them to either sell you other properties if they have some, like in this case, or send you referrals. So that's where this deal came from, is that it was one seller with multiple properties that I bought several from over the course of a few years. And she originally came in from my Driving for Dollars, where I sent a letter with my fridge magnet. So I've got a video on that out there somewhere too to check out. So this deal was a modular home on a permanent foundation on its own land. So a modular home is different than a manufactured or mobile home. There's some similarities. They're not built on site, but there's differences too. They're a little bit more permanent. You can eventually get normal, more traditional financing on them. But this one needed a little bit of work. The seller had tenants in it for some time, so there was some work to be done, and she didn't want to try to broker it and go the traditional route and fix everything that she would need to. She had sold to me a couple times before, and in the previous ones I had paid her cash from private money investors, and this time she was willing to take payments. So I gave her a nice hefty down payment, and she gave me a decent interest rate on the owner financing for the balance of the home. I think I purchased this home for around $80,000. This was back in 2019, and I was able to put one of my buyers that I had in the pipeline right into it. So the buyer that I had lined up was a contractor. The home was livable, but it did need, mostly cosmetic work. He was able to go in there and do that work. So he didn't have a huge down payment that was required for me to get into it, but he did have a decent down payment, and then was able to make monthly payments on that property. So I was able to build in a spread on the purchase price because I was taking a little bit more of a chance with him that didn't have the credit and the down payment, and she was willing to get the big down. The seller was able to get the big down payment that she needed. So I was able to structure the deal and only owned it for a short period of time, like a matter of weeks there. And not only did I build in some equity by having a purchase price that was higher, or a sales price that was higher than my purchase price, but I also charged more interest. She was able to give me, I think, around 6%. I don't remember off the top of my head. And I charge 10% when I sell these, because a lot of times I pay my investors 10% also, or I definitely was at the time. So I charged 10%, amortized it out far enough to make the payments in line with the buyer's income, and they've been paying ever since. They fall behind occasionally and then get caught back up. So these Tysco style deals do take some babysitting. You're working with people who may not have the best of credit, may not have the best of income. He was a contractor, so his income swings, goes up and down seasonally and stuff. But all in all, I've got a really nice chunk of equity built into that property, and eventually, if they go to sell it, I might end up brokering it, get more commission, or I might just end up buying it back and reselling it, or they can end up just paying it off and owning a home that they, free and clear, that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. Since they've been there about 6 years or so, the property's probably gone up at least $100,000 just by the forces of the market and appreciation over the years, and the work that he has put into it, because he did do cosmetic and replacing some windows and some other things. So they've got a really nice nest egg built into this home. The seller got what they needed out of the home, and she's still collecting monthly payments from me as well. And I got to make a nice spread on a property where, again, time after time after time, and a lot of these cases I do little, or in this case, no work on the property. It's literally the deal structuring that built in this profit. This wasn't a huge profit on day one, but over the course of the 6 years, and who knows how many more years it'll go until they sell or refinance or pay it off, it's going to end up being, with the interest spread and everything, I'll probably make 80 or 100 grand over a decade or more, just by structuring a deal that works for all parties. So a lot of people are looking for investments where they can go in and do a huge amount of work and gain equity, and that's great. I've done that a lot of times too, but you don't necessarily have to do any work if you can provide value by structuring the deal right. That's what the Teisco deals are all about. You're selling an opportunity for owner finance to somebody that probably wouldn't have an opportunity to get into a home otherwise because of credit or income. So we end up giving a lot of people like a second chance sort of thing. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes we do have to foreclose and take them back. But a lot of people end up being in the position to buy a home because of the way that you structured the deal that wouldn't have ever had the opportunity for home ownership otherwise. So it's a really cool win-win-win scenario when you can do these. And it's one of those long games where, if you make 50 or 80 or 100 grand, it's not like you did that in 1 month. I mean, you can do it in a short amount of time, but you get paid over the long term. So it's really neat that it, affects your cash flow, kind of like a rental, even though you're not the owner. So you're not fixing the toilets, you're not, getting sued if somebody trips and falls. It's got a lot of advantages to the Teisco style deal. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Please follow and share this with somebody else that might be interested in learning a little bit more about investing here in Alaska. If you guys have any real estate needs whatsoever, please reach out. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, and you can find me on any of these other places that you enjoy your content. So thanks very much. Really appreciate it.